People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good evening, and I hope you're all well and safe wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. Fridays equals Q&A days, people. Obviously, when this Q&A is done, I'm going to review Arsenal versus Wolves, but obviously it's the day that some of you wait for, and personally it's one of my favourite videos to do because, first and foremost, away from football and the many talking points, people, it's appreciative, man. Like engagement levels, like obviously through doing Deluded, I've had to keep an eye on analytics, and it's nice to see that ultimately you lot are engaged. I can't do Q&As unless you ask questions, so whether you agree, disagree, Arsenal fan, whatever fan, it means a lot, people. And also, I don't think I highlight this enough, that just where you lot live in terms of the demographics. People are asking me questions and supporting the thing from the many countries all over the globe, man. Like the analytics I was looking at on YouTube the other day is crazy, people. So shout out to everybody wherever you are. Let's crack on now, enough waffling. Now, Diabolical's asked, how did you become an Arsenal supporter? It's hard to find a specific moment, my guy. I could give you the cliches and what I have said before as to how I typically fell into it, but let me try and pinpoint the exact moment. Thierry Henry, man. Like, it was just, I used to play football, and then obviously Thierry Henry, yeah, I just became an Arsenal fan because of Thierry Henry, and like, that's what all the man that was supporting in primary school, and like everybody, you know, was supporting Arsenal when we was actually winning stuff. And yeah, man, I remember my first Arsenal shirt as well. So yeah, man, wouldn't have changed it for the best, but for anything, man. So I love the club, man, and thank you for that question to kick things off. Yahya, forgive me for messing up your name. You've asked, what advice do you have for players trying to make it? I assume as a professional footballer. There's not really any advice I can give because I haven't made it, so who would I be? And it's going to sound cliche, but never give up. And it's I'd say work smart, because the players that necessarily have come up from academies and what, like check Jamie Vardy, for example, yeah? Obviously, he's a sick footballer, he's a Premier League legend and whatnot, but you see when he was coming up through the ranks, yeah? How do you not know there was people that was levels with him, if not better? But were they playing for the right clubs that are necessarily playing in the right tournaments, being seen by the right people? Do you get where I'm going? Sometimes, and that's something I can take from personal experience. I saw that myself. A lot of the time it depends where you play for, who you play for, and who's checking people. And through obviously making inroads into scouting, I find it, because there's a lot of good grassroots clubs right now that I can guarantee you. Like, let's check. I live in North. So what? Spurs is just down the road. There's probably a little club somewhere, and I'm exaggerating, but there's probably a football team that has ballers that would be of use to Spurs and Arsenal, is just down the road as well, that they probably don't know about. You get it? There could be a sick footballer there, but if no one ain't looking for your games or know about it, or your team's not necessarily making headlines, no one's really attracted to it. So I'd say work hard, improve your craft, learn from others, never say never, but try and be smart if that is your situation. I don't know. So hopefully I've answered your question. Omar's asked, DG, where do we go from here? It seems everything is a mess at the moment. Keep up the good work. Thanks for the question, but I like the way you ended that on a high note with keep up the good work. Where we go from here, I don't know, my guy. For me, first and foremost, the players have got to look at each other and say, yo, listen, we didn't get top 4 last season. We've been speaking between ourselves and wanting to get top 4. We've heard all this noise from media outlets and pundits questioning our character. Obviously the XHAKA thing, and we're hearing they stand by them. If they really want top 4, every man's got to pull together now. And it's important, whatever result happens going forward, that they stick together. And I do think Arsenal have a close-knit bunch of players. They've got to pull themselves out of it. They have to pull themselves out of it. We cannot feel sorry for ourselves. There's still something to play for. At the end of the day, we're 5th. At this moment in time, my hope for top 4 is gone, people, purely because what I've been banging on about for a year in terms of seeing with a blueprint, I haven't seen it. So I'm more wanting the players to convince me. I'll be honest, I'll support my team and I'll be as optimistic as I can be. But it's more, they've got to show me now. I've done my talking and did what I had to do. Do you get what I'm going with? Where I'm going with that, my guy? So I'd say first and foremost, they got to pull themselves out. Then we've got to look at the coaching. Now, I know it's only the Cat Yarabel Cup and there were rotations in the side, but that game and the games that have previously followed before we played have shown that we cannot keep clean sheets. At times, well, I'm trying to put it nicely because I'm in a good mood, we struggle to defend. We struggle to hold leads. In that game alone against Liverpool, Don't get me wrong, we played well to some degree. The young players, they did their thing and whatnot. But if we're being cynical, we had a 2-goal advantage twice in that game, and away from that, we should be looking at it like, boy, we messed up, but we got away with it. You let Liverpool score in the last minute, people switching off. So these sort of things comes down to the coaching, which lies at the feet of Emery. So that's where we go from there for me, my guy. Whether we will is another thing, but I'll be there to document it, and hopefully you'll be here to watch my videos. Thank you for the support. Ayibs asks, do you think Jose is close to taking over at Arsenal? Well, I mean, he's been at the games. Speculation will be there. I don't know, my guy. I think Jose strategically positioning himself at not just Arsenal but a number of clubs, because the Spurs noise has gone away with the Arsenal headlines, but just a week or 2 weeks ago it was all Mourinho's going to Spurs, Pochettino busting out. So there's the Spurs thing, there's Arsenal. Obviously I don't think he will go back to Italy, or I know there's question marks over Madrid and whatnot. I don't know if he'll make a return there, but I have seen reports. So for argument's sake, if we throw them into the mix, he's probably in wait or see mode. If Arsenal's offered to him, he'll probably take it. It'd be silly not to take it. You've heard the prospect of winning another trophy at a third Premier League club entices him. Personally, I don't think it's an avenue Arsenal should go down. As much as you lot know me, I've made videos. I love Jose Mourinho. I'm a big, you lot know me, I'm scouting and the coaching things. What he's done in the game and how he's done, I've kind of, in my wannabe days, I've edited aspects of him, and I really like his approach, but that's not the Jose of today, really. There are some positives, I guess, that you can make, but nah, man. I think we need to go for a youngish sort of coach, sort of going into the new model of football. That's someone that's first and foremost a proper coach. Not saying I'm isolating this from Jose now. Someone that's got a clear blueprint of how they want to play, and they show a competency with that. That doesn't necessarily have to be a big name. Obviously, I want Arsenal to win, first and foremost, get top 4 and win all these trophies. And you'd want a Pep Guardiola or a world-class manager like that to come in. And obviously, with unknowns, there's a fear, can they do the job? But at the end of the day, we need someone that's like that, people. So thanks for your question. Antonio's asked, how far can we blame Ozil for his acting off the ball? I asked you this question because I do think he's lethargic. I do think he is lethargic in his movement, and his body language his negative body language is a natural born thing. I know some people, they have the same problems like Ozil. They're extremely introvert, calm, but on the flip side, extremely visionary and creative. I do think this is the case with Ozil. Do you think his characteristics as a human being affects him massively in his performances in training and on the pitch? I get you, like he probably, I don't know him, he could be the difference, but he strikes me as someone that's a shy guy, very confident around people he knows, and if you warm up to him, he'll talk, but keeps himself to himself, very easygoing, very approachable, but just relatively calm, not the quietest in the room. Now, I'm not at Arsenal and I don't know these things. Apparently, Ozil is a very strong member of the back room, and he's a loved member and banters and whatnot, but at times he can be described as very quiet and keeps himself to himself. I've actually heard Mustafi, you can hear Mustafi coming from two corridors down. He's a loudmouth, people. So that shows you how the tight-knit bunch is as well. I'm going off topic, but previously I heard Mkhitaryan, and you lot heard it as well on YouTube and whatnot. Mkhitaryan was very much loved, not just by Arsenal's teammates and that, by the backroom staff, because around this time of year, ironically, he was doing like buying the Christmas gifts for everyone and whatnot. So I do get you're going, his personality. Obviously, football is about personality. It can flip. Some people that are confident on the pitch and do skills are shy, but I get where you're going. I do agree to some. That is Mesut Ozil, to be fair. He's come up of being this language sort of guy. He's an enigma. He's been Mesut Ozil. The problem is, regardless, unless you're Messi, Ronaldo, and even them, you have to adapt. And Mesut, I think Mesut has been given a hard time, and I'm exaggerating a bit, but he hasn't largely adapted in the same way. You look at David Silva, whether we know they're different, but David Silva's been a winger, he's been a cam, he still plays in these roles, but he can, he's doing up deep lying playmaker and whatnot, on top of other things that Ozil can't control. So I do think it's that, but at the end of the day, whatever your characteristics are as a human being, like, you know when you need to do better. And I do agree, because I do think Ozil shows his frustration in different ways. He looks like a bit of a moaner. Lacazette's a bit of both. Like, I don't think his body language is like Ozil's. I'm not saying that, but going to the games, I like Lacazette because he cheers up and G's up his teammates. But he's one of them players, like, and there used to be a couple in my team. If you played a bad pass, you definitely know he played them a bad pass. And it can be funny at times seeing Lacazette do that. So yeah, man. Moving on, you've also asked, can Matt Smith play as a deep lying playmaker for Arsenal in the future? If he develops, who knows, my guy? Why not? Jamal's asked, as usual, bro, keep winning. I have a question. Thank you very much. Do you believe Emery hasn't got a clue when it comes to game management in the Prem, or his wins outside the competitions are just flattering Arsenal in poor form we're in? I do think the last sentence you said can tie into the whole team. I think from last year, goal performances have flattered us in a sense of the results. Now, at the end of the day, the teams go out there and get the results, and sometimes you get the rub of the green, sometimes things don't go your way. But largely, winning was more, and like this season, winning was masking results, and people only want to talk about it when it's now. At the end of the day, Emery's a professional manager and he's won Europa League titles. I can't sit here and say a man can't game manage. That don't make sense to me. But there are question marks over his time with doing that at Arsenal. There has been times, and admittedly, I ain't got no things to hand, but his subs have actually helped us. And on top of the obvious ones that go in and goal scoring, I'm talking about tactically. But more often than not, you can lay blame at some of his tactics harming us and how we're going out there as a team. So I won't say he hasn't got a clue, but I do think results generally have masked performances, my dude. Adrian's asked, what do you think of our fan base at the moment? Well, the majority of fans, obviously, like, I'm not excluding incidences at the stadium where clearly large groups of people and large donnies and man are cheering and jeering and making their emotions known. I'm not criticising anything, but generally, I do think there is a small number of Arsenal fans that act like clowns. In general, and they get a lot of attention drawn to them, and it gives us a bad name. And a lot of other fans of other clubs get that as well, especially with the internet and whatnot, with being hyper sensational and just acting silly, not actually speaking about the football. So I do think our fans are away from that. I think our fans are frustrated because we're still here seeing, like, we can't really see anything. I do think some fans that, and it's not a criticism, were kind of blinded by, not criticising Emery or the fans, but blinded by the new manager and the new approach. They weren't necessarily looking at, okay, cool, this a month's gone now, 2 months gone now, what are we looking in? And we was winning 22 games unbeaten and it was all hunky-dory. And then when you detach from reality, it smacks you in the face when it eventually comes back around, like you're seeing now, people. So only now people want to have these question marks. And I do think, one thing I hate about fans in general is you can't speak in extremes. Like, for me, I want Emery to do well in it. Like, why would I want an Arsenal manager to do badly? It doesn't make sense, me losing games and whatnot. Do I have question marks about if Emery is the man to take this forward? Of course, let's not beat around the bush. Many question marks because of what I'm seeing tactically. He still has my support, but I think if fans in general, and especially Arsenal fans specific to this question, there's too many boxes to throw man in. Like, you criticise Emery, no, you're Emery out, nah, welcome to Emery out, you're Emery, no. You're this, you're that, you're this player, you're that player. It's like, it's always, Mesut Ozil is a side, XHAKA is a side, everything is a side in football nowadays. Like, I can't just look at everything, people. Obviously, at times you have to pick a side with certain things, but you get the point. Wow, a lot of passion in that one there, but maybe the Arsenal badge is on today. But moving on, somebody's asking you, your username's gone. You said, who do you think is the best academy player for the under-18s and 23s in each of these positions? Goalie, centre-half, centre-mid, attacking midfielder, winger. I'm just going to stop you there. No offence, my guy, but I don't like to answer them questions. They're all good. They've all got potential. If they all work hard, they can do their thing. You've also asked me another question. Which one academy player would you give a first-team chance? And which player from any academy would you bring to Arsenal? Now, I will answer that one, my guy. Academy player I'll give a chance. There's a lot, man. Like, there's a lot. Who do I feel is deserving of a chance? It's difficult because I'm not looking at potential. I'd give Tyrese John Jules chances because he's been robbed by injury. Balogun was fit. I'd look to give one of them chances, if not both. It's difficult because I feel Sam Greenwood, give minutes. I think he's a bit on merit. Ben Cottrell on merit. I'd say Miguel Aziz. Yeah, Miguel Aziz, man, really. Yeah, I'd like, but a lot of these players they're developing, are they ready right now? Who knows, people? I'd say Sam Greenwood because I just really like how he plays. To be fair, I'll just stick with him. And which player from any academy would you bring to Arsenal now? I would say Jude. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna say Jude Bellingham from Birmingham purely because he's one of my favourite footballers already. I really like how that young lad plays, and I think he's gonna have a good career. And wherever his career goes, I'm gonna support that young man. Man, I really like him. So hopefully that answers your thing. Somebody's asked, Deluded. I have no question because you are humble. I suggest you come to AFTV interviews. Will you? Apologies, my guy, I'm having difficulties making sense of that one, but I assume, first and foremost, thank you for the praise and my humbleness and whatnot, but I assume you're asking will I do more AFTV interviews. Well, as long as money permits and my connects permit and I'm able to get a ticket, then I can do what I can, people, and get there. I can't lie. Shout out to Robbie for always having me and all the whatnots over there and whatnot, but Landlock can get long, people. It can get long. It's a mad thing. Like, especially after the Palace game. That was a hard one. I'm getting a lot of love for that interview. That was a hard one because the result wasn't my way. The line's long. Obviously, certain other incidences are happening. It's getting a bit pantomime. And I do feel, going to the Emirates, there's just a lot of, like, there's too many duns that just can't control the alcohol. I've had their first little beer. And I'm seeing it of all ages. And it's a small minority, like, just acting like clowns, man. Like, just acting up and acting gas. And you know when people wouldn't do this in a certain other environment. Not that it's anything to be proud of if you would. It's just unneeded, man. It's just pantomime, really. As long as I'm able to get there via means and contacts and able to get tickets, then I'll be there, my guys. So shout out to you for your question. I think that was 1915 that asked that. I didn't say your username. Innocent Socks, how would you set Arsenal up to get the best out in our front three? Well, I'd go 4-3-3. In short, check out, I have to be a shameless plug, check out all my content in my tactics review. I've actually got a tactical review. Oh, it's either tactical review or tactical analysis. Just go on my playlist. Whatever's called tactics, just go and watch all them contents, man. And I'll probably answer your question in depth, ironically, with that shameless plug. But I'd look to do 4-3-3. But we've got, as a team, regardless of the formation, look to play with more attacking intent from we're playing out. You look at Pep Guardiola. What is Pep Guardiola? Obviously beyond the obvious, but what is his first intent as a manager? It sounds stupid, but to score a goal. He makes a case of Edison's even had assists. Everyone in that team at some moment can provoke a goal scoring situation. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be like City, we haven't got the players, but the principle. You look at our playing out from the back. I don't feel in principle there's anything wrong with playing out from the back. The key word is intention. What is our intention? When the centre halves pull out, and if they get it, cool, but if what typically happens, if the centre halves pull out, the fullbacks go, because what's the point of the fullback staying near the centre half? So you cut off their options. So the fullbacks are got. Do you know what? The fullbacks are gone. These lot split. Oh, let's make you the keeper. Fullbacks have split. Now these lot probably cutting off their options. XHAKA comes to receive it from the keeper. Now, when XHAKA receives it, what's his intentions, people? I don't need to show you the rest, but what's our intentions? For me, it's not necessarily always to get forward and damage the opposition with intent, people. So that's, again, a question that lays at the feet of coaching and the staff and the relevant parties that shall be in that regards, my dude. Moving on from that. What other questions we got? Patel's asked, would sacking Emery and having Ljungberg as caretaker manager to the end of the season change anything about our current situation? Who knows, it might do, but our fans are going to have time, because I wouldn't say you have to write off the season because there's something to play for, but Ljungberg would be kind, for all the good things and reasons for me, if anything happens to Emery, he should at least be considered. He is kind of inexperienced, so our fans are ready to deal with that and recognise that he's learning on the job, because it's like Lampard. Obviously, he's at Derby now, but I guarantee at Derby there was tricks and trades he had to learn, and he's still learning. So it will be a trial and error of sorts. So you'd probably have to give up top four, because, not give it up in a sense, but Ljungberg, you know, like Emery, you'd have to give him time to do what he wants to do, flush the players that he wants in and out. Not that I feel we necessarily, beyond the obvious candidates, have to go through that again, but who knows, man? I think if things get worse, we've got to look at changing it. But right now, if you're asking me to sack Emery today and think we're going to see a significant result in the future, in the near future, I don't think that's the case, because Lombard would need time to coach these players. I've been banging on about defensive and offensive structure. You'd need time to install that, because some of these players look like, honestly, some of the experienced players sadly look like they've never done it before. People are letting midfield runners go. People are not looking over their shoulders. Tactically, we are very naive, really and truly, people, if you look at it and you look at the goals we concede. If we want to Pramar's asked, if we want to become a team that wants to press with high intensity like Liverpool, City and Chelsea for the majority of the game, do you think we have the players with stamina and ball winning ability to do it? Now, stamina, I think so, man. I wouldn't look at any of the midfielders specifically and say they're all action, all covering sort of things in comparison to elsewhere. But there's no reason Guendouzi can't learn to be better defensively in general and get up and down the field like he does. Torreira the same. All the others, the problem, not to scapegoat guys or drop guys in there. I don't think the pivot or midfield options are strong enough to do that anyways, because tactically it will become unstuck and XHAKA is not mobile enough. For me, XHAKA wouldn't be there long term. Not to scapegoat him, that's just my opinion. So I do think we've got the players to do it, especially the front options. Max Morris asks, what do you make of Kieran Tierney so far? It's impossible to really make a foregone conclusion, but I like his mentality, telling people to go and clap the away fans. Just looks like someone that just gets it. It's like, for me, like, it's different, but Welbeck. Now, you're probably thinking, what the hell, DG? What are you on about? But you see, for me, Welbs, away from his ability, you never see Welbs in no mix-up, no nothing, no tweeting nonsense. Welbs, you know Welbs is a sensible person. He's just doing his football. He'll call a spade a spade. He didn't get caught up in the talking a good game stuff. He clearly learnt that from Ferguson. Now, playing for Celtic, I feel Tierney's got the same. He's got that mentality, talking on the football field sort of thing. I think he can show some consistency if he's given the chance. I think he's going to be a good player for us, and I like him a lot, people. Hopefully he can be a hallmark at left-back for the next couple of years. What game was it, though? I think he got stressed out, though. I think he got... Who is it, man? So much football's come thick and fast, and it's on the spot, so I can't remember. But there was a game... Martinelli played good, but I mentioned that he weren't helping out on the left, and Tierney kind of got tested a lot. I can't even remember the game. Someone help me out in the comments if you can, people. Tierney played alright, but he got tested a lot that game, and it made me think, generally, does Tierney have a problem with pace? Like 1v1, someone that wants to run at him. That's not me criticising, that's just me looking at the individual we're getting. And obviously we need to find it's real hard to have a full-gone opinion on Tierney, as good as I think he's been, but that would be it. DJ's asked... Oh wait, before that, sorry DJ, we're going a bit too far. Max has also asked me, which free agent would you sign? Personally, I want Fraser. I believe Samori of Lille is going to sign a new contract, but to my knowledge at this time, he's contracted until 2020. So potentially him, or in fact him, to be fair with you. For Arsenal, I'm assuming you're not an Arsenal. I don't know if you're an Arsenal fan, apologies my guy. But if you're talking for Arsenal, I think the Fraser bolt, yeah, he can make a case for depth, but... I think that one there is gone, man. I think Martinelli is going to be a striker, but he can do his thing out there. Nelson, for whatever you say, I think this is my opinion, same way you got yours. I would bring him through, give him some chances. We spent 70 on Pepe. We've obviously I'm missing someone else out. Young Saka, he's so good. How can I miss him out? This is what I want to move forward with, my guy. Tommy's asked, if Emery was to get sacked tomorrow, who would you want to see brought in to replace him? You put me on the spot. At this moment in time, I'd probably say Marco Reus or Nagelsmann, really. Them two, if possible, really and truly. Arsene Wenger back now. I'm playing, man. I'm playing. Moving on. DJ on a serious note. Again, Gio's asked, most underrated player of the season so far? Difficult. For me personally, I feel Ronaldo's been good. Martinelli. Underrated, that's a tough one. I was going to say Guendouzi, but that's it. Do you know what? I won't say the most underrated, but... And I'm not saying he's the madness and whatnot, but I'd throw Scott McTominay and Daniel James in there. Yeah, that's it, my guy, man. I'm probably... When I sit down and think about it away from this video, I'll probably remember some, but that'd be it. DJ's asked, and a more serious note has asked, What's your thoughts on the recent joke ruling the UEFA gave out to Bulgaria? Boy, you said it myself, it's a joke, man. You said it yourself, sorry, it's a joke, my guy, man. I mean, people have been fined. Bentner's been fined more for wearing sponsored kit, sponsored stuff. People have been fined more for FFP. It's a slap in the face. They were better off just not fining them at all, really, because they're laughing. I know they've got a fine and a 2-game ban or something on the prospect of a 2-game suspension in their stadium or whatever. I think one's even suspended for a year. I could be wrong, but it's a joke, my guy, man. You've also asked, should England players just walk off the pitch immediately after any other racial chanting situation occurs in a match instead of this ludicrous free strikes bollocks? Free strikes is a mad thing, people. I was watching, it don't make no sense. Listen, it's for the players to decide, but I've been thinking players should walk off. It's easy for me to say. Personally, I know people will agree, the players will want to agree with what they're doing, but for me, my personal choice is if it gets too much, like, there's sometimes I'll ignore it and be on the let's play on again sort of thing. Because I don't want to walk off every time. If need be, I will, but I don't want to walk off every time. But if it was like the Bulgaria one, because that one from the TV, that one struck a chill with me, I'm walking off. I'd say, you man safe. You man do what you need to do. Southgate, if like I understand, I'm not criticising you lot. Be lovely for you to join me, but cool. Make a substitution. Personally, I'm coming off. I love other people to join me, but I wouldn't be doing it for other people. I know it is to make a stand and stuff, but I'll be doing it first and foremost for myself, because it would be very degrading, people. It's like, I don't need to take that. Like, I know we won the game and whatnot, but that one there, from how I felt watching it, if I was with that same emotion in there, and it would have been even heightened emotion, I'm sorry, but I have to walk off, because that one I can't. That one there, my guy, I can't put into words. I wouldn't be able to be on it. So yeah. Kuki's asked, what's your opinion on Arsenal management if XHAKA starts against Wolves on Saturday? Well, it'd be quite big question marks over Emery, and I mean XHAKA has to put in a good performance for you minimum. But I would personally have to question if Emery's got any real authority over the side personally. Gooner Martins asked, do you think Martinelli should be getting more time in the Premier League? Quickest question, of course, bro. 886 has asked, didn't Ozil walk off the pitch in the exact same way XHAKA did in the Europa League? Didn't Ozil disrespect the manager and tell him you're not a coach? He might have had a point. I'm sorry, people had to do that. Why does he get away with it and everyone loves him, but XHAKA needs to go? Hey, listen, man, I can't answer that one, my guy, man. You'd have to speak with some other Arsenal fans and get their consensus. But love for the question nonetheless. Michael Smith said, do you think this XHAKA issue could turn out to be a blessing? Hopefully Lucas gets played in his preferred position and Joe/Ceballos get the support they need to help the front three. I don't want to say blessing, really. I don't want to say blessing because I don't feel there's any blessing with any of this spotlight or any of this nonsense that the media have been able to run away with and spin, and the actions of both sides, people. I wouldn't say a blessing, but I get your angle. Potentially, yes, because it's about time Torreira plays, let alone plays in this best side. Obviously, Ceballos were kind of looking, as Arsenal fans, looking like, yeah, you're a good player technically, but I need to see a bit more sort of thing. I know you're only here for a year, and whether you're here for a year or not, it's on you to show what you can do, because you are on loan from Real Madrid, because some people might not necessarily believe you can contribute to what they want to do this season. So it's in his best interest to try and put in blinders every week, play for Arsenal to that point, try and help Arsenal achieve their ambitions for the season. Obviously, the Euros is on the horizon. I'm sure he wants to play a main part with Spain because he's been getting called up, do his thing there, and give Real Madrid no option but to look to bring you into the side, people. And question marks you know, when a player plays to the point where people are like, oh, why did he go on loan sort of thing? He needs to make that the question that's in the media in Spain and that. So that would be it. You've also said DG Nation, shout out to you, my guy. You're always in the question marks. And for some reason, whenever you ask questions, it always puts your questions in the spam, you know. So it's doing you dirty. Someone on YouTube don't like you, bro. But shout out to you. Finally, Gunnar Buriggs has asked, apologies, my dude, man. You know I'm terrible with pronunciations and names and all these things, but we're here for the football. Yo, DG, love the hard work and content. Thank you very much. Why is it so hard to recognise Emery's offensive tactics? Like, what are we trying to do with the ball in their end? My God, I don't know. What I personally feel is it's a bit like, I'm not going to discredit Emery and say we're not doing offensive drills in training, but it just feels like If Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil, if he plays, the young players that have come in and done it, if someone don't put together a good move or a bit of individual brilliance, we're not really going to score because it don't look like there's a plan. We're scoring from set pieces and teams being poor really and truly, like against Palace. We are scoring good goals at times, but I get you, man. And it goes back to what I said kind of earlier. It's like, what is our intent when we get the ball from the keeper? I don't know why it cut out there, my guy, but it goes back to almost like our intent. What is our intention? From Leno gets the ball, what is the intention? Like I said with Pep, his intention is to score. Someone's got to provoke it via movement at the top end. Obviously, I ain't got no diagrams and I can't even explain what Pep's on because guys are just everywhere doing everything. But you get the point. Ultimately, I do think if you find it hard to recognise someone's offensive tactics, do they have any necessarily? I do think he's shown elements of us being decent on the counter-attack, and there has been games he's married his pragmatic approach, allegedly, in with the sick attacking players. But generally, there's no options. We're playing it. It's just sidewards in front, and you know the other team, 2 banks of 4. More time, there's no players in the midfield that, no discredit to the midfield because they're not picking themselves, with the ability to unlock the defence. And when that one man is on the ball, because there's no movement or nobody else is making angles, they're either dropping deep or again they're passing in front. Then they get scapegoated and our fans run away with things, and we get to where we get to at this point, like today actually with the current climate. But it is what it is, people. What can I say? It's been a good Q&A, people. In fact, it's been such a good Q&A. I don't want to do no one dirty. Let me go through the comments again on YouTube. There we go, because there's always one little smart guy with a late question. Can you see Guendouzi potentially playing an advanced midfield role? If you mean 10, no. But if you mean a central midfielder potentially with more creative license, then potentially. Marble Hall said, is Ozil being punished for something? It seems that he was left out for more than just tracking back. Potentially, I feel there's a lot to that Ozil story, my guy, which obviously you watch my vids. Thank you for doing that. You've seen me speak about, but it's not just football. So yeah, man, I don't feel I'm missing anyone else out. It's just bare of the same question, no offense, people. Yeah, we ain't missed anything else out. So on that note, we can wrap this in a bud, people. It's been a pleasure as always. Deluded, I'm out. Get in the comments with more Q&A questions and whatnot, because I need it, people. I can't do it without you lot. DG, I'm out.